Hello world. It's about 11:30 in the evening on Saturday the 8th of November. And I was getting ready to go to bed about an hour ago because, as you get older, you want to go to bed earlier. And I just had this thought, I wonder what's going on in the sky. So I stuck my head outdoors. Cloud. Everywhere. Not a single star to be seen. Great. So I come in and I put the astrological software on. And the more I looked at it, the more I thought, blimey, look what's happening right now. What a significant time. There's so many different things happening literally as we speak. But I just thought, what? And I'm doing this mini shifts happen in less than 48 hours time. I didn't plan this, but it tells me that I'm in tune with what's going on because the synchronicity is pretty incredible. So here's what's going on, okay? So this is a spot check of what's happening astrologically at the moment. Pluto is now moving forward. It stopped going retrograde and it's moving forward. But what's fascinating is that today, from a heliocentric perspective, Pluto has moved into 3 degrees and 4 minutes of Aquarius, which is where it will stand still on its retrograde movement in October of next year. So as of today, at least heliocentrically, Pluto's moving into its retrograde shadow for the next sort of 6 months. Now, geocentrically, Pluto's only at about 1.5 degrees of Aquarius. But what it's saying is that already the first 5% of Aquarians are finished with Pluto conjuncting their sun. And by March, the first 10% of Aquarians will have finished with Pluto conjuncting the sun. Pluto's now getting a really strong foothold in Aquarius. Sticking with the heliocentric for a moment, Neptune, heliocentrically, is now at 1 degree of Aquarius, 1 degree 2 minutes. And Saturn, heliocentrically, moved into Aries about 3 days ago. So I know that from our perspective, geocentrically, the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune is going to be somewhere around mid-February. But heliocentrically, the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune's a lot earlier than that. It's actually going to be precise on the 11th of December this year, which is not long at all, 4 or 5 weeks. Heliocentric chart reveals a lot about what's going on in the background, the undercurrents, regardless of individual personalities. But coming back to the geocentric chart, the chart of today. Yeah, Neptune is retrograded back into Pisces now. Saturn is getting ready to stand still. Uranus retrograded back into Taurus yesterday, 36 hours ago. Now, on the one hand, that means that the void moons of the next few months are going to be very short indeed. There'll be one a month, which will be long. Because with Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces, the last half degree of Pisces, and Uranus at the last half a degree of Taurus, the void moons are going to be short, maximum of an hour, most of them. But it's more complex than that. There's a Mercury-Mars conjunction brewing up again because Mercury is about to stand still and go retrograde. And this will happen in about 20 hours from the time I'm recording this. Mercury will go retrograde at 7 p.m. UK time tomorrow, Sunday. And shortly after that, Jupiter's going to go retrograde. Jupiter's going to go retrograde on Tuesday. So both Mercury and Jupiter will be going retrograde. So what this means is that for a few days, from say the 11th of November through to about the 28th of November, every planet in the sky, apart from Venus and Mars and Pluto, will be retrograde. A lot of retrogrades. So any child being born in November of this year is going to have a lot of introspective qualities, and they're going to make a lot of decisions in their life based on how they feel internally rather than external stimulus, because that's what a lot of retrogrades do. And I find it incredibly synchronous that I'm doing a Shifts Happen event again at such an auspicious time, with Mercury just gone retrograde, Jupiter just about to go retrograde. I'm also doing it at the moment that we start the recording, we start streaming, we start the actual event about half an hour after the moon changes sign on Monday night. The moon will be at 0 degrees of Leo opposing Pluto, which kind of cracks me up because the last time we did a Shifts Happen event, it was the exact square of Mars to Pluto. And this, you know, the older I get, the more I'm beginning to realise that many of the so-called rules of astrology are actually, in England we say, arse about face. That means they're completely the wrong way round. For example, trines. I mean, the more I get into astrology, the more I'm realising that, yeah, trines are lovely, but they make you lazy. Especially trines by transit. Give me squares and oppositions all the time. Because, yeah, they bring problems and challenges and difficulties. But they also release energy. So that with application and determination and perseverance on your part, with the desire to make things happen, to want to do things, that you can turn that energy into something really positive. And you can change the square from being potentially confrontational and aggressive into being assertive and projective and dynamic. You can change the opposition from being something you're stuck with to something you can dance around and like a helix coil around it and flow with it. I'm fascinated by the fact that we're going to be doing this just as the moon's at 0 degrees of Leo. And the moon will be trining Neptune and trining Saturn and trining Mars and trining Mercury. There'll be a great grand trine in the sky. We never planned this. It's just, this was the only date available. And it just so happens there'll be a great kite. There'll be the moon opposite Pluto with the moon trine Mars, Mercury, Saturn and Neptune, and Pluto sextile Saturn and Neptune and Mercury and Mars. That's such an auspicious pattern. And basically, anything that anyone does here, especially if you're fortunate enough to have anything in the last couple of degrees of Pisces or Virgo, or the first 2 or 3 degrees of Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, then the time from now for the next sort of 4 or 5 days is very auspicious indeed, particularly Monday evening UK time. Astrology's a joker. She has her fun, but if you're working with her, she'll still throw a curveball in, but it'll normally work with you, I hope. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Monday night. It's going to be fun. We've sold out of attending tickets. There's still about 25 tickets left on the live stream. Links on this page. But this is a crazy time. It's a build-up. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction will be exact somewhere around the 11th of December using the Heliocentric. It'll be conjunct in late February using the Geocentric. And then once we're through that kind of nexus point, bottleneck, thin end of the wedge, the thin end of the pencil sharpener, which Saturn-Neptune represents in terms of sharpening, honing and focusing consciousness to make it fit for purpose for evolution in the future, then we enter into Uranus trine Pluto for 2 years, Uranus sextile Neptune for 2 years, Neptune sextile Pluto for 3 or 4 years. This is the step into the future that we've been sort of gradually accelerating towards since the 50s and 60s. This is the time we've been waiting for. And I do believe that this is a time where we're all going to collectively and individually upgrade our ideas of what it is we're here on planet Earth to do in terms of purpose, both individually and collectively. And we're going to sort of wake up and realise things about our individual mission statements that's going to make us far more conscious of why we're doing what we're doing, and realising that we're not accountable to anyone else, but we're certainly accountable to ourselves. For many people, that gives them the freedom to do exactly what they want because they have no idea of things like morals and ethics. For others who are hidebound by morals and ethics, it's going to be incredibly limiting because they dare not do anything lest their conscience plays them up. I find myself somewhere in the middle. For example, I would never do anything cruel or mercenary because that's savage and nasty. But ruthless is just yes, no, black, white. I can't see outside my own chart. I have the moon in Sagittarius. So to me, things like morals and ethics are really important. To other people with different positions in their chart, they're less important or more important. But to quote Richard Bach from Illusions, your conscience is the measure of the honesty of your selfishness. So listen to it carefully. I think that the next 4 or 5 days are going to be a really key time. So watch what's going on, not just on the news, but also on the social media feeds, because I really think that the next few days are going to give a kind of taste of what's coming up in the next couple of months, which, as I say, is the crunch point that we've been heading towards for a long time. Yes, shifts happen. It started as a joke. Started as a random idea. But that's how the best ideas, that's how the best things happen, just with an idea. And now it's turning into a whole franchise. Watch this space. More news to come on this. Meantime, I'm out of here. I'll try and do a video tomorrow. And then I've got to prepare my workshop on the very latest discoveries on the sacred geometry of the solar system and beyond, and what that means in terms of intelligent design outside of planet Earth, and what that implies for the future. Yeah. So, catch you later, world. I'm off to sleep, and then I'm going to go and do this workshop. Catch you later, folks. Bye.